that's Anna again. Are you interested in starting browsing my April sketchbook? And that's quite a special one and more of a journal, because I decided this month to put together a sketchbook approach with a bullet journaling community process and a bit of gratitude journal on the top. So that's quite an interesting, I think, mix of all of these approaches for journaling. And you know that I already like to bring quite a lot of journaling in my process, and the travel journal approach I like so much, and that I always include in my sketchbooks even when I am not traveling. So I would say that this is a bit just a step further to my usual approach. So I'm looking forward to sharing this with you, at the same time the pages that I am going to show you, of course, but also all my thoughts a bit about the process and what journaling can bring to your sketchbook. If you are from the bullet journaling community, welcome, and I hope that this kind of approach with a bit more drawing and painting and sketches and doodling can inspire you for your journals as well. So this journal includes, along with the watercolor and pencil and ink sketches, quite a lot of writing and collage and stamping and poetic doodling and even calligraphy, and I think the mix is quite interesting, so I'm really excited in sharing it with you. Here is my April journal. So the first page is a bit just writing down some ideas about what I could include in the journal, ideas about the visual aspects, but also about which kind of content I want to include. So that's just a black and white page with some writing and some cute stamps I bought in a cheap store. Stamping! For some pages I like to keep the black and white design so that it doesn't get too girly, and I like the high contrast of black and white paper. I use the black and white washi tape along with the stamps and writing, and you see that for some other pages are really more colorful, especially when I use watercolor, of course. So in fact I started the journal in the end of March because I just wanted it to, and you know, you don't want to wait for the 1st January to do something when you have it in your mind and it's important for you. So I started on 30 March, and as March was quite a crazy month for me with a lot of things, and I wanted the journal to include a bit of my life and the achievements and everything, I made this kind of page with all the events and achievements for March, and I started to write down the gratitude thing each day. So it's about writing 3 to 5 things each day that you are grateful for or you are happy with and you want to remember. So I write down usually 5. I started doing it maybe 1.5 years ago, something like that, and every scientist say that it's really nice and it makes you happier, and yeah, I think that's really nice to try to write down the nice things for your day and what you are grateful for. But a few months ago I just stopped. I quite forgot to do it, and then I lost the habit, and I definitely wanted to start it again. So I'm really happy that it's included in my journal now, and I started usually to write them down on a separate piece of paper so that it looks a bit like a border, and that it enhances the design of the page. So this is my page about the first time games. I talked about this idea I had in the creative mindsets for 2018 video, and so the idea is trying to be creative about finding things you do for the first time ever in your life, and so I started to write down a few fun things and a bit of putting a few doodles here and there to illustrate it, and putting several things together to make the page more interesting and with a bit of calligraphy. I may keep talking to you about this first time game and sharing it with you because it's so interesting and so fun. This is an achievement page, so just trying to write down some things that happened and that are quite achievements. Sometimes are just simple, not so big things, and sometimes more important, but you know, just to be able to say, I did it, yeah, and I want to write it down so that it's set in stone and I am happy with it, and I try to be self-confident with myself and to celebrate achievements. So still playing with stamps, and these are kind of These sticker papers are quite fun and lovely, like the brown paper design and the bubble thing. So sorry, not so much sketches yet, but there are some in here. So this is a well-being tracker for this month. As March was quite crazy, I wanted to focus on the well-being side of the force. So that's why I put this little adorable sort of stickers with a teacup and the get well message. So maybe this can be surprising for some of you, but my checklist is not about productivity and work and everything, even if I know I want to make 2 to 3 videos for the channel a week, but more about taking care of myself and keep being creative and keep taking more time for things that are good for me. So just quickly, for those of you that are interested about it, the orange thing is create on paper, so that's about journaling and sketching, and I really feel that it does some good to me when I take the time to do it, so want to try every day to make something, even if it's just a bit of doodle, stamping or calligraphy. The yellow one is about moving more, so enjoying the sun when the weather is beautiful and going out for a walk or maybe make some tap dance, but not staying in front of my computer and sitting all day. The blue one is about making some real breaks, so that means for me doing nothing or napping or daydreaming or meditation, because yeah, just scrolling Instagram or something is not a real break, and I realized a few times ago I really need some real breaks, so I try to do that a bit more. You can see that the blue color is maybe not the most used in my tracker, so I still have to work on it. The pink one is about trying to get my apartment tidy and clean, so just having 10 to 15 minutes a day to do something I don't really want to do and I feel some resistance to do, so yeah, try to push a bit myself so that the space is even more enjoyable. And creativity is a bit messy, so sometimes it's really needed. The green one is a bit eating healthy and few, so not too much, and especially focusing on protein and vegetables. And the turquoise one is about unwinding in the evening, so this especially means stopping to work at 6 to 6:30, because yeah, editing video at 10 p.m. is not good for your health, so trying not to use a screen anymore in the evening and make something else than work, so that's still a bit difficult for me as well. But the journaling thing helps too, because I do it in several moments in the day, but especially in the evening can be nice, and I am looking forward to work in the sketchbook, so that can be a help for me to relax and unwind in the evening. This is my favorite for the month, so I still have more things to write down, of course. My favorite for now are a bit of the sunshine and lovely days, so that you can spend time outside, and that's so enjoyable. I finally tried the apple with some peanut butter, and then that's so delicious, and I didn't try it yet, so that's new for me and a new favorite. And I also like so much using some clear stamps. This month I finally understood how they work, with putting them on the clear acrylic block and removing them, and that as they are clear, easy to use and good quality and everything. So these are the first one I bought, especially because I like this kind of scribbling writing. I found it interesting, and afterward when I started to make the gratitude thing, I realized that this thank you stamps was just perfect for the gratitude part of the journal. And I was so happy when I found this travel stamp set. In fact, last year, before leaving for the US and Canada, I searched for some nice travel stamps with Earth map and everything, and I a bit struggled to find nice ones. So I found 2, but I had still in mind that if I found some more, I would buy them, and I came upon this one without even searching for them, and I think they are so cool because you have several stamps with the Earth, the compass, and some sort of different label, and I really like this kind of, you know, stamp in the mail rendering too, so they are pretty cool, and I used them a bit too much in my journal this month, so this is part of the favorites. So I added these pages about some thoughts I wanted to record in the journal, thoughts about life and ideas and what this month and the journaling practice brought to me. And these were ideas about how to unwind in the evening and distress and chill out and taking care of myself. So I started to write down a lot of ideas on my phone, because sometimes you feel that you need a break and you need to relax, but you are too tired to know exactly what to do and to have some ideas. So it was nice to write them down. Maybe one day it could be a nice video to make. And I printed it and played with the stamps and this kind of fun stickers as well. I went a bit crafty this month. I hope you will like it too. Oh, and I should show you the sort of, cute 3D labels. That's the one I use just for the other page. And this is not really practical to have a 3D thing to put in the journal, but they were so cute. So then I made a page about the YouTube channel and the video I would make this month, and I had this in my mind for quite a while, having this kind of drawing idea about a rabbit popping out of a teacup to have, this evocation of Alice in Wonderland, a bit of quirky atmosphere, and I added a bit of the key or something, so I quite like the design, so I may try to work a bit more on it, maybe to make a sort of logo or icon or something. I should work on some more lovely writing for the title of my video, I think, for next month. So those of you that are familiar with my sketchbooks may have noticed that this is not watercolor paper. So as I have quite a lot of journaling with the gratitude and the bullet journal collection and everything in it, I chose to bind the sketchbook with some Clairefontaine 100 GSM paper. So that's quite a nice quality, thick and nice. This is A3 paper and the drawing don't show through. And for those who are not familiar with my sketchbook and journals, I bind my own sketchbooks to be able to choose my paper and my own size and everything. You can check a bit of the link if you like to make your own journal. I'm aware that it's quite a big size for a sort of a bullet journal, but I really enjoy to have some space on the page so that I can have some sketches along with the writing and other contents. So let's start the April month. This was Easter Day, so I didn't have time to sketch, so I just pasted a few neon flowers I made for the table decoration and even put a few on the window. That was fun. And as it was also April Fool's and I was with my niece that day, and suddenly during lunch I thought, oh, but we don't have any fishes to put on the back on everybody, so I made them with napkins. So I include them in the journal along with gratitude, and this is a stamp my little sisters brought to me from Vietnam. Here it is, it's a wood stamp. And the little bird says, Happy Easter! And then, yeah, a bit more sketches and watercolor, of course. So that day I started just doodling with this random paper, the primrose on my balcony, and then I made this watercolor, trying to work on the dynamic on the painting and on the balance between the colors, pink and green, and working, of course, with negative painting so that the white flowers sort of pop out of the sketch. And then a few times ago I decided to print a few of my photos so that I can include them in the journal. So I made some sort of montage so that I can print a few of my photos and then cut them so that they are small enough and I can use them in my sketchbook. I may include in here the little flashback about when I received the photos. So I'm pretty excited because I just received some prints I have ordered from my photo. These are analog prints, little ones, that I envision to include in my sketchbook so that I can express a bit more my creativity as a whole in my journals. I am so excited about it. So let's unpack it. And I am happy I received my new lens too, which is just a little small zoom, which is going to, to allow me to zoom in and say hi and zoom out and show what I'm doing. Yeah, so the bigger one is a photo for one of my clients. This is a print of this photo I took in India. A lovely glossy print, so that I'm going to prepare for her. And my little prints for the journal. Photos of all kinds and some sort of shots from the videos. Yay! Okay. So instead of pasting a ticket or something, I will be able to paste little photos or at the top of the page if I wanted to, and so that I can mix together my watercolor, sketching, journaling, photography, everything. So this is some art and so lovely, cute sculptures by Anne-Sophie Gilloin. I met and I went to her exhibition, so I decided to include them on my page because I thought it was just beautiful with the color, and I like that she has a sort of a rainbow and a sun on her shoulder, so it evokes quite a bit of spring, and there is a bit of rain too, and she has some flower on her head. I often like to play with the stones out there and writing a bit, changing the direction and everything. So you can tell that when I want to make a watercolor, I add a page on the sketchbook, just taping the page, and it works quite well. So next day includes also a bit of doodling, and I made this kind of flower using the paper snowflakes technique, just to relax, trying to get a bit crafty as a sort of art creative meditation this month, and playing with these are some lovely washi circles my mom gave me as a gift. Another photo I took, such a magical moment, this lovely girl with a mask in Paris, just so quirky, poetic and wonderful. And this is my maple tree just blooming. I didn't even know it could do such flowers. So there is still one left. I decided to sketch a bit of the Easter chocolates, and that was quite fun to do. Along, keep working with the gratitude thing, and I thought maybe this quite heavy on the page with a thick line and everything, so for the other day I made a really light fine liner sketch. So these are 2 days together with this kind of setting. I always try to change a bit the setting. Sometimes one day can take the whole spread, sometimes it's to the left and the next day to the right. Here it's like 2 rows, one at the top of each other, so that's nice to try to spice it up and changing the design. And then this is the Bill Fry sketch I did outside, and I realized that I forgot to share with you the step-by-step I took with a few shots, so I'm going to include it right now. At the beginning of the journal was quite a lot of writing and ink and everything. I was so happy to start to include a bit of watercolor in it, and I really liked doing this sketch outside. a few more, but smaller. Nice atmosphere and sense of light. And ink doodle version. And this is from my video. I think I'm going to create a sort of video link alert so that you can know that the link is in the description below and you can watch it if you enjoy it. So I made a demo where you can see me painting that. So this is my spread for the day. And so this one, the watercolor, I did after the video about the urban sketching setup, and such a wonderful response and a lot of views and interest about this video, so thank you so much. And yeah, it was 21 degrees and I was so happy to be able to make the video outside and also to make this quick sketch after shooting the video and trying to get the dynamic of the tree and just a sense of people and the reflection and keeping it simple. And this was a bit of drawing I made in the evening. I don't know, I was too tired to think about something, but my camera was just on the table and I liked the light on the camera, so I started sketching it with pencils. And this is a microphone at the top of the camera, by the way. And so adding some water, a bit of ink, and it's quite a sort of more realistic drawing, but with the looseness I like nevertheless. So you can recognize probably this kind of scribble stamp I showed you earlier. And so along with the drawing I start using my stamps in here, and I was quite surprised and happy about how it turned out, and I like the way it evokes a bit of, I don't know, recording the world and trying to bit of freedom of speech and about the idea that videos can be, yeah, a way to connect to you and to the world and everything. So that's it for this page. Then this was the time as you can tell, I didn't have a lot of time to sketch because of some hard video working and also some other things and meetings I had that day. So I may put a bit of a photo from the video capture or something, and I just, you know, wrote down the gratitude journal thing on some paper and playing with the kind of film border to evoke the video work. So that day we went at a special exhibition which is just in a sort of big window just someone has in Arras near Douai, and my father is exhibiting right now a really special triptych with 3 big photos in the windows. So this is a lovely thing to give the information about the exhibition. And so the photos you can't really tell in here, but I will include a few shots in here too so that you can see how was the opening and with all the people in front of the photo and admiring the work of my father, which is such a wonderful photographer, and he caught the light in this really special place, which was a place where religious women were at some point and they left for another place, and this place is going to be changed into something else, so probably this is going to be gone, so that's why my father came to make some photos in here, and he was surprised by how the light was enhancing the building, and he created some diptych and triptych using at the same time wide views and also some details, and every time the detail you can see on a photo you can find it in the wide view too, so that's a way of focusing your attention and making a bit of, oh, where is the detail in the wide shots and everything. That's so lovely. Congrats, Dad! And this was a bit of the draft for my following the white rabbit sketch. And so that's when I start doodling a bit in my sketchbook. So, and I think the stamp work helped me to go to the doodling. You know, at first I used a stamp, and then I thought, oh, maybe when I don't have a stamp for something like a sun, I can just try to doodle something. Even searching for inspiration on the internet to know how to sketch them. So these little birds are inspired by Alex Smith and Richard Smith. don't know how to pronounce it. They are almost the same name work that are really inspiring. And at first it was all black and white, and I thought, oh, I should try to add a bit of color, but not too overboard with it. So I decided just to add this restricted palette of color just with greens, so that it gives a bit of contrast and interest and cheerfulness. I was so happy. I started to make some INSTAX photos again. I almost didn't use my camera since I came back from Brittany. No, I think I didn't. So I had 2 black and white photos left in the camera. So I am using this INSTAX Mini 90. It would make a nice video for me to share to you what I like in the camera. So you can tell that I have some photos I printed from my computer, and this is just a photo you make and it's ready right away. And so I liked the shadow on the wall, and it was a bit of an occasion too to record my living room. So I like the atmosphere. And so a few days before, I started to practice calligraphy just on some loose sheets, so that I can a bit get a feeling of modern calligraphy and how you make the letters and how it can look pretty. So I felt I was ready to make it a bit more in my sketchbook, and I had quite a lot of thoughts in my head about, I don't know, ambition or something I tried to do with my life at the time. So I thought this quote, shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you land among the stars, would be just a perfect way to express my feelings, and maybe to think, yeah, be brave, go for it, and you'll land among the stars. And I started doodling as well to illustrate it with the moon and everything. And this kind of doodles are inspired by one of my favorite illustrators, which is called Cécile Udrisier. I may talk about her again later, but if you want already to check her work, that's just a wonderful inspiration. And so this is quite different from some urban sketching work, of course, so different, but I felt that this day I was sometimes too tired even to think about something to sketch, and maybe not so much inspired by what I have in front of my eyes when I am at home, even if I just love my apartment. So this way of journaling this month really helped me to get in my sketchbook, to get in my journal, even when I was not so much inspired and I didn't know what to draw, because just starting to write down the gratitude or some thinking or something in my collection or making some calligraphy, it makes you start creating, being at your desk or at your table and putting some marks on the paper. And once you get started, it's so much easier to keep going and doodling and even sketching. So I think that's really good for me, and I wanted to share this with you. If you struggle like me about not always knowing what to sketch or something, try to find some other things you want to include in your sketchbook or journal, like calligraphy, stamps, photos, collage, other kind of doodling, even, I don't know, color swatches, everything, so that it helps you to be more creative and to start even when you are not so inspired for drawing. And I thought it was fun in here to play with this kind of planet idea and turning the compass into a planet too. And so guess what? This is my alarm to say that I need to unwind now because it's 6 in the evening. So fortunately the leaf through is almost done, and I will keep working on the video tomorrow, because yeah, taking care of ourselves is so important, and I feel I really have to be careful not to burn out with this YouTube project. But let's get back to this idea of playing with several circles together to get the design of the page. That was really fun, and yeah, inspired by some illustrators and graphic designer work, and especially Cécile Udrisier. I like to play with several things together that doesn't fit together usually, like these bubbles in the sky, along with the planets and everything. That's so fun. And this is one of the photos I printed, and as it's my profile photo by now, I thought it was nice to include it in the journal as a record of everything in the period. Almost done for now. The next page features some lovely tea labels. I certainly thought, oh, that's quite nice. I am going to put them in the sketchbook. I even kept the thread because I like the volume and sense of depth. So this is my teacup. It's not empty, so I can't show it really nicely, but a lovely big teacup with cactus my mom gave me that I just doodled, and a few more birds and everything, and gratitude and the thank you stamps. And for that day I thought, oh, for the gratitude thing, rather than putting them all in one big piece of paper, I could do these circles and put one gratitude thing on each circle. So once again a different design idea. So I used this big punch to make these big circles and include them in the sketchbook. This is an envelope I kept to use the brown paper because I like it. And I saw some bees on my terrace. I was wearing this kind of long dress or shirt with a really bold pattern I bought a few weeks ago, and I thought that it could be a nice challenge to try to do it with watercolors and to have the record in the sketchbook. So I painted the pattern of the dress, and I thought the page was a bit empty in here, so I started writing, doodling, and in fact the page was a bit boring and not so appealing before, and once I started to put this kind of plants growing everywhere, and especially with the neon thing, I bought this pen in Belgium. It's called Red with a little star. It really gives a bit of color, and in fact this is what gave me the idea to add a bit of color in here to enhance the page and not to have so much black and white page in the sketchbook. I'm going to keep this one black and white and the other one a different way. So that's it for now. I just made just slightly more calligraphy earlier in the day, and then I'm going to keep working in this special April sketchbook. So that's it for now. Please tell me which kind of thing inspired you the most, and you may want to try them in your own sketchbook or journal. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe for more journaling video, artist vlogs and creative content. Thank you each of you for watching. Take care and create!